So hello and welcome back to Test Drive Thursday. Today we're having a look at this, the Scania next generation. So there's a various number of models in this truck mod. You got the S, R, and then I believe some others. So there's a lot to look at, so let's get straight into it. Okay then, so here we are in the Skanda Dealer in, where are we? Stockholm. So it's 9 out of 10, so you do have to go quite far along, and as of it does take a little bit of time to load it in, but as soon as it's in, you may notice it's very shiny, and to me, I just don't think it's rendered correctly. I mean, there's no shadows. I mean, if you look at the other ones, they've got shadows down here. But there's no shadows, as you can see, and it just doesn't, it looks a bit plasticky. I mean, if you look at this, it looks a lot more convincing, but with this, I just don't know, it's a bit weird. So if we go into customization, go into the cabins now, this is where it has improved quite a lot since the last time I tried this mod. So you've now got the P series in here, which is really cool. I mean, I do think this looks really good in the P series cabin. I mean, when you go for something like the S, I don't know, it's very menacing like that because it's very tall, it looms over you. But with this, it just looks like a, I don't know how to explain it. It's very sort of cute and cute but aggressive. It's kind of cool. Then you get the R, which again looks really cool. S. Then we got P, so you got top line P, so you got the high line and the top line. If we have a look at the interior of this, I'm not sure if it makes any difference. So let's say it's, okay, let's just take a look at that. Okay, then if we go for the top line P, I'm not sure if that, I think it did. Let me just have another look. So this line here is roughly there. Let's just have a look again. I don't know. I think it does. It's not very big, the difference when you look at it. But yeah, there's definitely a difference there. But then you got high line, top line. I'm not sure if it sort of tints the windows slightly or something. Something's going on there, or maybe it's the curtains. Oh no! Hang on. See that here? That's grey. Top line, it's darker. Okay, let's have a look at that. So that's the top line. High line, it's lighter. That's interesting. I mean, that would make me want to go for the top line any day, because I think the darker sort of interior looks really good. But if we could just go for the top line S for now, which is the sort of new model for this truck, you've got loads and loads of chassis options for this, all the way from a 4x2 all the way up to a 6x4 rigid. Yes, we do have rigid trailers in this, and I believe if you probably click some secret button, we go, no, hang on, is that right? There we go. Apparently it's a step icon, which is a bit weird. You get that sort of box trailer on the back, but personally I'll just go for the free moving cabin. Right, where we are we? So yeah, loads and loads of chassis options for you to choose from. Then we get onto the engines, ranging from a 400 brake Euro 6 all the way up to a 730 V8 if you wish. I was just driving the 450, and to be honest, it did feel a little bit underpowered. I'm not too sure why that is, but that's just something to notice. The V8 start at the 520 here, so I might try a 500 in a bit, but as you can see, there are no Euro 5s here, it's all Euro 6s. I'm not too sure if that's realistic for this model range, the DC13, DC12, DC16. I'm not too sure if they're realistic, but that's the options that we got. We got some 12 speeds and we got some 6 speeds with or without the retarder. Then onto the interior. This again is where there's been a bit of a overhaul since the last next gen Scania mod. I tried mainly around the sort of dashboard area and the sort of infotainment up here, but also I think this back area around here has also been improved. But I do remember the seats being a little bit higher quality. I'm not too sure if it was the same sort of mod author that I got the previous mod from. But yeah, both of them are doing a great job. But this does seem a little bit better, in my opinion. So what you're seeing here is different variations of the sat-nav. I mean, I believe if I think back to the older mod now, the interior options actually changed the colour of the interior. I believe you had some red piping around the steering wheel and around this section here. I believe you had some cream options as well. But in this mod, you're changing all of the sort of dashboard area. So that would be a lower spec truck without the sort of bigger screen. I'm guessing that's without sat-nav as well, which is a bit weird in a modern truck, I'd say. And as you can see here, it also changes the climate control, which I'm guessing that's only single zone climate control, and that's double, I think. So yeah, this would be the most basic truck, and that one being the most high spec. I mean, I don't know if that's going to work as a sat-nav. I may try in a bit, but that's something to take into account. Not many different sort of stripes or bold designs you've on this truck for paint. You've just got custom colour, custom metallic, and then some of the preset ones. As you saw on the intro, and what I just said back then, the truck is very shiny. So if you go for a darker paint like this, I mean, you can just see that. Look how shiny it is. It looks like about 10 layers of polish have been applied to it. It almost looks grey there. So I'm not too sure if a darker coloured truck works with this mod because of just how shiny it is. Maybe if you go for something a little bit brighter, maybe like a lighter blue, it doesn't shine as much basically. So that's something to think about when speccing this truck. But I'll show you on the outside when I get to that in a bit. Now this is the options. I mean, this mod must not be that old, because when did the truck come out? Let's say, I don't know, it's about August last year, so say a year. And this would be better than the amount of options SCS would give us, 100%. I mean, starting down here, I mean, even down to the side skirts here, I mean, they're all realistic. They all fit correctly. I mean, they've even got exhaust options if you go for a V8. It's really good. Just heading our way around here now. So this is where you can change the bumper. You can go for a higher or lower one. So if you're doing some off-road work, quarry work or something in this game, then obviously go for the higher bumper. But if you're not and want a bit more style and aggression, you can go for the lower one, which, to be honest, it does look a bit more sort of ready for business. And also got some plastic options here if you're doing it on the budget. Up here you can change the lower grille guard, which does not fit correctly, so I'm not sure why the option's there. Now this is to change the inlays on the grille. You see there, you can go for black, grey or painted. And then here is to change the lights. So with the exclusive, it's all this LED look without the sort of orange sort of indicator bands. It's almost like a US spec, this one, even though this truck wouldn't be going to the US with those orange indicators. So yeah, it depends which style you like. Personally, I prefer that one, but if you prefer that one, go for that. Also, I'd probably say that's a lower spec truck, so if you were speccing this with all the plastic parts, the cheaper interior, that would fit it pretty well. And if you're going for like a white colour scheme as well for like a workhorse, this is sort of the thing that you'd be expecting. Let's go for a orange for speccing it now. Right, what next? Bull bars, yeah, they ruin the look of it. Now this is to change this part down here, so you got stock black or plastic really. You got the grey, and then you got the paint, which you can actually see behind the grill there, which I don't really like. I wish it finished off a little bit better. Done that. These are for the inlays on the top part. Not sure why you'd want them different to the bottom, but there you go. Have them orange again if you want. That's to remove the Scania logo if you want a more cleaner look. And that's for the badge. You have that chrome if you want. This is where you can insert the lights out. To me, when this truck first came out, I really wasn't sure about those lights, but as time's gone on, I don't think it's as bad anymore. I mean, it sort of looks like it's missing something without them, but yeah, I do sort of like them now. Let me just get back on there. That's the badge. Where's the options? Here we go. So that's the option to change the front of the truck to colour or plastic or whatever you want. I mean, the black plastic does look good against the sort of lighter colour, so that's something to consider. Up here, that's all the mirrors. Okay, so there isn't actually a chrome options here. So you can have the paint, or you can have it fully painted with all the arms painted. The sun visor, as I'll show you in a bit when I'm driving the truck, it does reflect an awful lot from the inside, this part here. So to me, I'll probably just go for the all paint, and then it can't do that, and you will get better FPS. That is the front mirror, side mirror. You can have that painted if you want. Around the back, I believe there's door handles. A few different options for that, with or without that chrome piece. Again, no full chrome option. Right, what we got up here, these are the lights. You got plastics around or paints around. I'm not really sure why you go for the plastic, to be honest. Paint looks a lot better. That's light bar. I don't really think it suits it that well. Beacon if you're doing some heavy haul work, and again, that's over the sun visor. It does work, that sun visor. It is clear, so that's a bit unrealistic. Just dumping it on top of there, no, it doesn't make any difference. And then you have got the spoiler, so you can either have this sort of low-lying version, this low-lying version, or you can have it sloped up a little bit more if you take in higher box trailers. Right, we've done that round there. I mean, just all the details really good. I mean, even down to sort of handles there for it. What we got back here. Now, interestingly, I mean, if you look at this, when you get outside the configurator, these sort of mud guards here stick out, I don't know, quite a bit out of the truck, and they're floating, so definitely remove them. And then you got the Scania logos at the back, and then you can have the what is that back here? Is it something to do with the battery? I'm not sure, but painted or plastic, personally plastic looks a lot better. And you can paint the top of the mud guards, which I'm not sure if you can remove them completely. Yeah, you can. So you can move them completely if you want, but it doesn't look like you can paint the arches. I'm trying to look. I can't find an option to do so. But yeah, onto the interior. If we go to the wheel now, so there's two different standard options you've got. You got with the black logo or the standard logo. I do like the black, it's very modern and fits with the truck quite well. And then you got the V8 version, so if you're going for a V8 engine, you can have a sporty steering wheel with a flat bottom, again with or without the coloured badge. And the rest of it is just basic really in here, all the cabin accessories and things like that. So yeah, overall customization is pretty good. So now I'm going to do a time lapse of me building this truck to my spec. Okay then, so here we are, completely configured now. I did change my mind quite a lot, as you can see. I thought I was going to go for the S 500 or maybe an R500, but I decided why not, let's go for a P380. So I was wrong earlier. When you go for the P cabin, you do get a different range of engines, I believe all the way down to a 340, but considering that we're taking, what, 18 tons today, down to Gdańsk in Poland, from just north of Stockholm. Going to catch the ferry over and then down here, so it's only a short little journey. I mean, that's what the P cabin's really designed for. It's not really sort of long distance driving truck, but I've gone for all the plastic parts, gone for white paint, pretty much all basic stuff. I don't know why, but I've noticed some sort of trucks have these green wheel nuts, so I decided to stick them on. They're usually sort of workhorse trucks that have them, so I decided to stick them on. So it's a very realistic configuration. On the inside, I've shown you in the configurator time-lapse that I went for the lower spec sat-nav. Now when I turned the truck on, nothing happened. It just shows the Scania logo, so I had to go with this so I could see where I was going. Let me just turn the lights off so I can show you the interior. So if we have a look here on the main display, it currently says 1141, however it's 1245, and that brings me on to another thing. All these digital displays that you're seeing are not working, they're just images put on. I mean, I'm guessing that's meant to be a digital speedo there, along with the odometer. Obviously this truck hasn't done 1200 kilometers, it's done 24 miles, so nowhere near. And then when you press I or whatever you've set it to, nothing happens. So they're just images, but it sort of shows you what the mod author is hopefully working on in the future. So it'd be really good when we got all the information displays working, but otherwise all the indicator buttons work. Annoyingly, I don't know if you can see that, but where the parking brake is, it's covered by the display and you have to get really low down to be able to see it, so that's a bit weird. But luckily you've got the physical thing that you can tell if it's on or not. Otherwise, I've shown you the indicators. You can't see the indicators from certain angles, so that's annoying. But if we start the truck up, you can see there the rev counter works really smooth actually. I do like the rev counter. It's quite easy to read, along with the analog speedometer, which again is easy to read. I'm not too sure if the fuel displays are realistic. Let me just check. I mean, we should have, yeah, we got pretty much a full tank of fuel, so I'm guessing they're not realistic, which is annoying. And the tag lift icon is also there. I mean, it's probably a good idea to put it down for this journey, so let's do that. See the truck slightly leveling out there with the trailer, but otherwise on the interior, I think it's pretty well modelled. Really, everything's really high textures. I mean, in some places like this it could be better, but overall it's really good. And all these sort of buttons work, as you can see, all the light modes on the door, and overall it's a really nice truck interior. I do like it, it's very refreshing. However, you cannot change the seats, so all the seats have got the V8 logo on. Even though this is only a 4380, we've got V8 seats, which I find kind of funny. But let's get on to the road now. It's in drive. I've gone with the automatic gearbox because my knee is hurting me. But yeah, another thing I was going to show you, you see the gear selector works as well, which is also really nice to see working. Let me just reset Trackir. I cannot get my seating position right in this truck. When you jump straight in it for the first time, you sit really high up, and I just cannot seem to get it right. It's a bit weird. But yeah, just gently pulling away now, hardly touching the throttle, just being really gentle with it. I've got no way of checking my fuel economy, which would be really cool to see with this hopefully economical small engine. But I guess we have to wait until the final release of this by SCS, or maybe if the mod author continues to develop it. I mean, I hope he does. Not too sure the point of him doing it when the SCS one comes, because I'm sure that all the information displays in the interior, even though this is really high quality, I'm sure the SCS one will be higher. So what I'd hope this mod author to do is, when the SCS one comes, to focus on improving that, adding more options, things like that, a lot like the RGL Scania mods. I'm not too sure if RGL himself will do any improvements to this one when it's released, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, foot is flat now. I mean, it isn't an unrealistic sort of combo. This is probably at the top of this engine's ability. Anything over 20 tons and this thing would be really struggling. I mean, we just got up to 40 kilometers an hour here as we head back to Stockholm. There's a big blind spot there with those mirrors. Right, the gearbox just didn't know what to do then. And yeah, that was, I mean, that's dangerous. I do find in this game the automatic boxes are really slow to respond. And it's happened to me a few times when I've wanted to sort of, what the heck is that guy doing? When I've wanted to pull out a roundabout like that, and it's been very close to a collision because it just doesn't know what to do. So that's why I like driving manuals more, because at least I'm in control then, not a computer. But yeah, only just up to 30 miles an hour here. We've got a slight downhill, so that'll help it. But yeah, so this truck, I believe, was released last year, or maybe even the year before that, I'm not completely sure. But when it was first released, I watched the sort of live stream reveal, and when the covers came off it, I wasn't too sure about the design. I just found it a little bit too boxy, and I didn't think it looked as classic as the previous model, but now it's came out a bit and I'm starting to see them on the road, with them all sort of stickered up with their company logos and stuff. I am liking it a lot more. I think when you got a basic spec like this, it can look a little bit weird, but when you start putting all logos and wraps on it, it really does start to look good. So yeah, I do like the looks of it now. I wasn't sure when it first came out, but one massive improvement over the previous gen is definitely this interior. I mean, it's a lot cleaner. I mean, it probably could be a little bit more tidier, in my opinion. I still prefer the Volvo over this. It's just a really clean design, but I do really like the steering wheel in this. Really, really nice. I like it a lot. So we're turning off here though. But yeah, it's not too bad cruising this. Again, the 380, you sort of get what you pay for with this engine. It does struggle a little bit. But yeah, overall this mod, just the options and configuration that you can do to it it's really, really good. And I'm so happy that we've got a mod like this so early on, since this truck was released. So I've been wanting to drive it for a long time. Again, I'm not too sure when the official one's coming out by SCS, but it was sort of pictured on the Italy DLC sort of front image. So I'm guessing it's going to be coming out with the Italy DLC, and I'll probably say around maybe Christmas early next year until that's released, maybe even sooner. Probably need to catch up with the SCS blog to learn more about that, but yeah, still quite a way off, probably around 4 or 5 months till we get this. So it's good that we got this mod for now. But yeah, what I was saying earlier, with all these chrome pieces on the inside, like the handle there, you get all these weird reflections. I mean, I can see the sort of vegetation and the road here, when there's no way in real life that would be reflecting the road. And it's the same with all the other chrome pieces in here. I wish there was sort of a satin metal, opposed to shiny, because it does sort of take your frame rate. I mean, this truck is very sort of intense. I mean, I'm getting a lot of lag spikes. I'm just under 40 FPS, 37, that sort of range, and I'm usually getting around 50 to 60 on a normal truck. So if you got a low-end PC, this mod might not be that great for you. So I'd have a think about that if you've got a lower spec PC and you're thinking of getting a next gen Scania. I am getting a lot of lag spikes. I mean, you can probably see that like every few seconds. I mean, look at that. And it wasn't doing that before. It's a very intensive mod. It looks like we're coming up to the port now. Great sort of visibility out the front of this truck. I mean, the pillars are very small. I mean, it's almost like Renault Magnum thin. It's really, really good. But the one thing I would say, I'm not sure about those mirrors there. I still prefer the new Volvo FH mirrors. I mean, it's almost bezel-less design. They look really smart and don't take up much room. But these do, they stick out really far. So it is hard to see out of junctions. I mean, this side isn't so bad, the driver's side, but the passenger side, from where you're sitting and angling, the sort of gap where they stick out, you can see through, isn't that big. And again, they stick out really far, so it blocks quite a lot of your vision. So even though this is a really small truck, it's one of the smallest that you can get in its range, visibility isn't superb. but the mirrors themselves are pretty good. The wide angle is very big. Right, here we are, onto the ferry. And yeah, nice little drive over. It's very relaxing, these smaller engines, especially in automatic gearbox form. Right, let's get over to Poland. So here we are, arrived. This thing starts into life. The engine is very rattly. It's quite loud actually, thinking about it. Yeah, it pulls away really smoothly, like without a fuss at all. I don't know if you can see that. The front windscreen, look at it, it's reflecting quite badly. I mean, I don't know if you can see that. I mean, at sunset, I don't know if you remember with some trucks you get that sort of white glaze over the front, which is quite bad. I'm not sure if this is going to be the same. I hope not. But that may be the reason why the FPS is really bad. Those reflections on the front. I hope not. You can see it on the white. Look at that. I'm just trying to look down away from it to see if it makes any difference. It doesn't seem to be. But yeah, overall, it's sort of the best that we got for the moment, and it is pretty good for the amount of time the mod author has had to build it. I mean, SCS have currently got nothing to show for their efforts, but these mod authors have published their work, and we're getting to drive the next gen Scania earlier basically, so that's great really. So definitely take a look at this mod. It's good that we now got not just got the S, we got the R and P as well, so a lot more new Scanias to play with. So yeah, high score from me. I'll try and remember to put the link to it in my mod spreadsheet. Right, once it's down that sort of corner there, see what this thing is like to reverse with. But yeah, I love taking these smaller trucks with the smaller engines. A bit more challenging, but as I said, I do find them relaxing to drive. Just really smooth, and so if you don't have to think about speeding in them like you do in the bigger engine trucks. Like, you can use all the power all the time. Oh. Not exactly sure what I just hit there. What am I hitting, honestly? The boundary box in that curb must be really big. I do hate that when you're perfectly fine reversing, but some kind of boundary box or the trailer boundary box blocks you from doing it. This is so annoying. It takes away from the realism. Yeah, this is quite easy to reverse actually. It's not too sensitive. I think that'll do. Let me just check. Yeah, hang on. Back a bit more. Yeah, there we go. Right, let's decouple. Okay, 44 miles. Excellent. So there we go. If you have enjoyed that video, please do give me a like. Share the video if you want to. That'd be really helpful to me. And want to subscribe to push us far over to the 500 barrier. We did sort of hit it the other day, 500 subscribers, then we dropped down a little bit more. So it'd be really helpful if you could push me back over, and we can start thinking about the 500 subscriber special, which I do have some ideas for in the future, but I'm not gonna tell you them yet. But again, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you soon, and goodbye.